Okay, hello everyone. Looks like the people who want to be here are here already, so we might as well get started. Today in Rosemead, we got up to 96 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 36 degrees Celsius. It's pretty hot. I remember I was in Rio de Janeiro in 1993, 92. And I remember it was so hot, but it was only like 32, 34 degrees Celsius. It was a lot more unbearable than today, because over in Rio de Janeiro, it's very humid, just like in Korea or like in Vietnam. So I'm glad that many of you are still here, not running away, back home where you can find your own air conditioner. Here at Way Mountain Temples, no air conditioner. Plus, you're sitting in, you cross your legs, your leg might hurt a little bit more. So it heats up even more than 96 degrees. All right. Let's continue then. Master YongHua, in the midst of teaching the start of the second Chanqi, long time ago, that he started in San Francisco, and he's said that people are having errant thoughts, monkey mind, jumping all over. And last night we stopped at 46, which has basically said people from Seattle have thoughts about Seattle, people who came from the heaven of neither thought or non-thought will have such thoughts of their own places. Okay, continue please.
想入非非，那非从非非想出天来的，就
Thoughts entering none is from the neither thought nor non-thought heaven.
So he's describing, Master YongHua describing the state of his disciples who were there, the people who participated. Some came from Seattle, some came from Paris, some came from New York, some came down from the eighth samadhi heaven, the heaven of neither thought nor non-thought. And so that's what this is referring to. Continue, please.
正打非非想出天妄想。
They always have false thoughts about neither thought nor non-thought heaven.
打非从非非想出天来的，就净打非非想出天妄想；从刀立天来的，就净打刀立天的妄想。
The ones from Trayas Traminsas heaven always have false thoughts about the Trayas Traminsa heaven.
So this heaven here is Trayas Trimsa heaven is a heaven of 33. Anyone knows what the heaven 33 is? It's a heaven where the Christian God resides. They're at the top of Mount Sumru. the heaven where there are 32 heavens plus the central heaven in the center at the top of Mount Sumeru. On the four sides of Sumerus, you have the other remaining 32 heavens. That's inhabited by the retinues of this Christian God. Okay, so don't laugh at the Christians. Their God does really exist, and they're for real. And the God has great affinities with us. That's why they have so many followers. Have over 1 billion followers in the world, and because this God here really is recruiting very actively in our world. Okay, and he really cares for us, living being down here. He looks upon us as his own children. Okay, so he says here, some of them came. Some of the participants came of the heaven of 33, and that's why they have the false think about about that place.
从地狱来的就净大地狱的妄想。
The ones from hell always have false thoughts about hell.
So some of them recently came from the hells. So this is a case where when you fall to the hells, usually it's very hard to get out of the hells. When you fall to the hells, you migrate from hells to hells to hell, different types of hells, countless types of hells, where you suffer torture and misery for your entire existence. And then you die in that one hell, and you move on to the adjacent hells, the next hell. Okay, very convenient. So the hell inhabitants usually they're very hard for them to get out of the hells. So it's very miserable. We Buddhists know that. That's why we try to avoid falling to the hells when we die. Yeah. And then some of them, once they finish the hells, those tours of the hells, then typically they move up to the next realm, which is hungry ghosts. Okay, they become hungry ghosts for a long time as well, hundreds of millions of years. Okay, where they suffer thirst and hunger day and night. And then after that, they move on to the animal realm. Okay, like the ants here that we have. Now the ants are at our temple. It's so hot here that the ants are invading. They're going inside because they cannot stay outside. Outside is too hot for them. So they move the nest to inside the temple. They're everywhere. I was meditating and climbing inside me and all over me. And all over the table here, you see there's a row of black ants. Some of them even bit me as well. So then you go from the hells to hungry ghost realm, and then you go to the animal realm, and then finally you make to the human realm. When you make the human realm, it's not as glorious, as glamorous as you think. You make the human realm usually born with a lot of issues. For example, you're born with incomplete organs. Either you're born blind, you're born deaf, and so forth. Okay, and then you keep on, and then eventually you're born with the full capabilities. Take on human body with full capabilities. And that's what, now you have a chance to go to practice chant. Okay. So that's why he's saying some of them came from the hells. So this participant came directly from the hells to the human realm. So it's kind of unusual. Okay, this person had blessings, an affinity with his Dharma. All right, continue, please.
从恶鬼的那儿来的，那个恶鬼呀，就打恶鬼的妄想。
The ones from hungry ghost realm, those hungry ghosts always have false thoughts about hungry ghosts.
从畜生那儿来的，打畜生的妄想。啊。
The ones from animal realm have false thoughts about animals.
啊，从阿罗汉那儿来的，就打阿罗汉的妄想。阿罗。
The ones from Arahat would have false thoughts about Arahat.
Notice that the arhats came to his chanchi as well. And they sat there and they practiced with them. And they have false thoughts about the arhat's realm. So he has all kinds of people coming to his chanchi. Continue.
看上啊，不要打妄想，也没有妄想，啊，也无念无生。
Arahats say they do not want to have false thoughts. They want to have no false thoughts. Want to have no thought, no production.
啊，从菩萨那儿来的，就打菩萨妄想。
The ones from Bodhisattva would have false thoughts about Bodhisattva.
So the bodhisattvas who came to practice chant with him probably had to be there because they have false thoughts about bodhisattvas.
什么时候我可以证得妙觉这果位呢？
When can I achieve this fruition of wondrous enlightenment?
啊，唯独啊，到佛的境界上是没有妄想的。
Only when you have arrived at the state of the Buddha, then there is no false thoughts.
还有一个妄想，这个妄想佛也免不了的。什么妄想呢？他要度众生。
There is still one false thought. This false thought, even the Buddha cannot avoid. What false thought? He wants to save living beings.
What do you think? Master YongHua says even Buddhas have this false thought about saving living beings. Continue. The next slide will elaborate more.
这个众生，我怎么样能把他度尽了呢？你说，这也是妄想。
This living being, how can I save them all? You say, this is also a false thought.
Agree or disagree? He says, depending on your background, you came from the hells of this human realm here to meditate. You naturally think of where you came from, the hells, the hungry ghosts, animal realm, heavenly realms, asura realms, arhat realms. They have false thoughts, yes, about arhatship. What is a false thought? Arhat says, I don't want to have a false thought. That's why it's a false thought. Okay? And then he says, Bodhisattvas also have false thoughts. Bodhisattva has this thought that when am I going to attain the Buddha's enlightenment? When can I attain Buddhahood? Bodhisattvas do have that thought, that false thought. It's true. But what about the Buddha? He says even Buddha has a false thought. Buddha has a false thought about saving living beings. How am I going to save dragons? How am I going to save this particular living beings? Agree, disagree? I'm testing you. I'm testing you scholars. If you scholars can find any answer about this in your scriptures, in your research. Here you have an enlightened monk, a great monk who explained to you very casually what is afflicting you, what is the problem you're going to have when you do Chan, when you do Song, when you do Theme. You have these issues. Okay? Yes, 5 fingers.
Hello. Pomyan Sanim says Buddha's thoughts saving all living beings is not, we can't say that's a forethought because it's the Buddha.
That's right. Absolutely. He's absolutely right. Bodhisattva is true. Bodhisattvas still have this thought that I want to become a Buddha. That is the driving force about bodhisattvas. Why they're doing all that? Because they have this thought. They said, I want to become a Buddha. I want to become a Buddha. That's what drives them. Okay? So now he says, even Buddhas have the false thought. The false thought, I need to save a living being. I need to save living beings. That's not correct. Buddhas alone, he's contradicting himself. Buddhas alone do not false think. Even the thought, I want to save a living being, that thought does arise, okay? But it's not called a false thought because the Buddha is different. Okay? So this is incorrect. Okay? I don't know why he chose to talk like this. Maybe to his disciple, but to us, it's incorrect. Yes, 5 fingers.
So maybe he's just describing somebody, the other people, they might think how Buddha wanting to save all living beings, just describing how people might imagine the state of mind of Buddha. Isn't he trying to indicate it?
I don't know why he chose to talk like this. Maybe because he wants to exaggerate a little bit about the nature of false thinking, but he's going too far. Okay, he's saying something here. Maybe it makes sense to his participants, but not to us. I cannot allow this go by you and for you to say, even Buddha has false thoughts. I heard, this is not the first time I hear from him. I heard this from him. He said this maybe other places or this place. I don't remember where. But he did say that Buddhists have false thoughts. That's incorrect. Buddhists do not have false thoughts. Only we have false thoughts. He doesn't have false thoughts. Okay? And that's why I said earlier, I asked you, well, you will not find this kind of information from the scholars, from the scriptures, okay? That goes to prove to you that a lot of information we have, okay, are not meant to be in scriptures. It's meant for you to know when you get there. You have to get there and experience them yourselves. Okay? And that's why it's okay for him to talk that Buddha has false thoughts, to lump them all together. It's okay at their levels. But I don't feel that it would be a disservice to you to think, in particular you, to think that Buddhas have false thoughts. It's not true. Buddhas do not have false thoughts. Give an example. It's true that Buddhas desire to save living beings, but it's not called a false thought because that's the only thought he has. Does it make sense to you? If the only thing you think all day is to save living beings, it's no longer a false thought. Does it make sense to you? We are false thought because we have different types of thoughts that arise. Buddhas has only one kind of thought, okay? No others. That's why it cannot be called false thought anymore, okay? And that's as far as I can tell you. There's other reasons as well, but it's beyond the scope of this Chan class. Yes? Internet.
I thought if it comes from a patriarch, we can trust it.
If the thought that comes from a patriarch,
I thought if the instructions comes from a patriarch, we can trust it.
if this patriarch here is not a Buddha, you don't have to trust him 100%. Patriarchs, when they're not Buddhas, make mistakes as well. Patriarchs are not mistake-free. All right, continue, please.
所以呀，在这个世界上，各从其类，哪一届就打哪一届的王想。
So, in this world, each follow their kind. Whichever realm would have false thoughts about that realm.
咱们现在座谈，你要知道你从什么地方来的。
We now sit Chan. You need to know where you came from.
Does it make sense to you? Isn't it natural that when we meditate, we naturally have false thoughts about our own individual states of being? If you are a programmer, naturally you have thoughts that pop up about programming. If you came from a particular place, some home, you have thoughts of home. That's natural. That's why we need to meditate. Okay? Another reason I will let you know, I will clue you in, of course, this is, again, it's not something that scholars or intellects would understand. The Buddha do not see themselves as different from living beings. So another rationale for saying that his false things about saving living beings is incorrect. He's saving himself, so what's the big deal? continue, please.
你可以呀，回光返照，看一看你自己竟打什么妄想。
You can return the light to turn the illumination inward. Have a look what false thoughts yourself always have.
啊，你自己呀，竟想啊，这个马尔瓦纳。一用呢，就觉得神乎其神的，哦，到了天堂喽。
If you always think, oh, once I use this marijuana, I would feel the most fantastic. Oh, I arrive in heaven.
This is funny because clearly I was told that at the time he had a lot of Caucasian disciples who shaved their heads and became monks. And those are the homeless people in the parks, close to where he was. And most of those were on drugs. So there's a rumor going around that Master Xuanhua's monks are usually on drugs, on marijuana. And guess what? Does he pretend that it's not the case? No, he says, some of you are thinking about, marijuana. and reminds me of one of my early disciples. She uses marijuana too. And she loves to learn to sit in full lotus. And it's hard for her, but it's a tough one. She endured it. And then very quickly, within 2 weeks, she went from 0 to second dhyana. I was so impressed. She's one of my early disciples in Long Beach, where I was teaching in a living room in a house. That's how I started. So she came and she's a daughter of one of my disciples, and she wanted to take refuge as well. And so she admits to me that she uses marijuana, and she would. She says that marijuana and Chan meditation seems to be compatible. And I said, wow, it probably is, because you're making progress so quickly, quicker than even your own dad. Most of my disciples didn't progress as quickly. And so it's funny that marijuana seems to be so helpful in the Chan practice. Go on.
啊，这个天堂花花绿绿的，哇， beautiful.
This heaven is flowery and green. Wow, beautiful.
Probably his hippie disciples, hippie descendants.
So 呀，你要打什么妄想，你就知道你从什么地方来的。
Yeah, so what false thoughts you want to have, then know where you came from.
Now, it's a point of interest to me is that, remember, I was never there, so I'm very curious and eager to see what transpired when he started teaching and what kind of disciples he had. And apparently, it's from this, it's another confirmation for me that many of his early disciples were homeless, were hippies, were marijuana users from in the San Francisco area. Okay, closest is his temple. So this is interesting to me. I know it's maybe shocking to some of you or boring to some others, but to me it's kind of interesting. And I just wonder, why would he allow those people to shave their heads? Because I tell you this, almost all of them, if not all of them, returned to lay life. They all dropped out. Okay? The monks who stayed from that generation, I can't think of anyone. They all returned to lay life. And they're very enamored. They're very loyal and respectful of Master Hsuan, but they didn't make it. Okay? Why would he allow them to live the home life? They could have stayed as lay people. Why? Anyway, there's no answer for that. I don't know why. He has his own reasons. Go on.
我看你打什么妄想，我也知道你从什么地方来的，所以你也不要欺骗我，我也不要知道你。
I see what false thoughts you have. I also know where you came from. So you don't need to lie to me. I don't want to know you either.
那么这样子呢，你回光返照，一照你是从什么地方来的。
We are as such. You return the light to turn the illumination inward. Once illuminated, you will know where you came from.
那么，你要从地狱来的，赶快把地狱这个门关了它。什么是地狱的门呢？
Then if you came from hell, quickly close hell's door. What is hell's door?
这个地狱的门呢，就是贪心、嗔心、痴心。
This hell's door is the greedy mind, the hateful mind, the stupid mind.
你要是从恶鬼那儿来的，你要赶快把恶鬼这个道挡住它。怎么挡啊？
If you came from hungry ghosts, you should quickly block the way to hungry ghosts. How to block?
就是把你的贪心、嗔心、痴心停止了。要从出生道来的，也是这样的，也把这个
Stop your greedy mind, hateful mind, and stupid mind. If you came from the animal realm, this is the same.
贪心、嗔心、痴心这个三毒熄灭了它。
It is also to extinguish this greedy mind, hateful mind, and stupid mind of these three poisons.
这就把地狱、恶鬼、畜生这三恶道停止了。
This is to stop the three evil realms of hell, hungry ghosts, and animals.
我们现在这个坐禅呢， 这是干什么呢？我们坐禅呢，就是消除我们以往的恶业。
We sit Chan now. What does it do? We sit Chan. It is to eradicate our past bad karma.
这个恶业也就是一种愚痴所造成的，恢复我们本有的这个善业。
This bad karma is also caused by a kind of stupidity to recover this good karma that we originally have.
You see, so it's interesting how he says that you want to block the doors to these evil destinies by stopping this the mind that creates the three poisons of greed, anger, and stupidity. This is typical Chan teaching, Chinese teaching. Okay, for them, this is in the culture. They keep on talking about Tan, Chen, Chi. They're talking about greed, the three poisons: greed, anger, stupidity. Asian cultures. But for us, it's quite acceptable to be greedy. Yes, isn't that a famous line in that one of those movies? Greed is good. What movie is that again? Wall Street or something like that? There you go, thank you. Only us, we are into movie buffs. The rest of you are ignorant, stupid, if you will. So to the Westerner, it's kind of interesting that I sit here, I wonder, if I were there, how would I react to this? Because I guess for the Chinese, I see how it makes sense to them. But for us, it's too shocking. We need to have a certain amount of greed to live, yes? You need to have a little bit of anger to keep your children at bay, don't you? If you're sweet to your children all the time, they're going to misbehave. I've seen so many children like that already. The parents are too soft. So he's kind of, Master YongHua is kind of teaching all these Chan style that is sort of, I don't know if you Asians agree with that, sort of common sense to you, but to us Westerners, it's kind of hard to accept, to swallow. Agree, disagree? And yet he's very successful. He talked like this. He taught like this. He talked like this. And many of his followers bought into it. It's fascinating to me. It's very impressive, including the hippies and the marijuana and drug users. Yes, internet.
If some or most of Great Master YongHua's disciples were Westerners and homeless, etc., how did they understand his Dharma talk?
Well, they had translations. Back then, they would have intensive classes of Chinese classes, and the grad students from University of Washington and those places, Berkeley, would come and attend these intensive retreats where they stayed there and they work and they sleep in a temple. So And Master Sheha used to teach them, the sutras and so forth. But then every day is a Chinese class. He would teach them Chinese, and that's how he trained his pupils in Chinese. Okay, and they picked it up very, very quickly. Yes, another question.
Master, what do I do if I don't feel hungry for success anymore, but I feel like I should accomplish something in my life? This is from Andres.
If you don't feel hungry for success, then your success, you can find other things to define as success. That's normal. It's as you understand more the Dharma, your paradigms shift. It's a natural occurrence. So eventually you find something that will turn you on. That's typical, because a person who strives for success will not stop. Agree, disagree. Once you have this notion, I want to succeed, okay, in having a business, in my business undertaking, okay, and then someday you decided, doesn't seem to be appealing anymore, then naturally in your mind you find something else to challenge yourself. That's your makeup, okay? So there's nothing to worry about. You eventually find something else that's more suitable to him. That's all. Yes?
When we have a hard time letting go of someone we love, how can we recognize if it's our karmic retribution that come for us, or if it's our sexual desire that keeps us from letting go?
Is that from a man or a woman? I need to be careful here.
A woman.
I don't know. If a man asks me, I might answer differently. But a woman is, what is the word for that, gentlemen? When you're talking about a woman's state of mind, you say, well, it's complicated. Anyone has an idea? Any women would like to contribute? Help me out, please. Huh? Any man would like to help me out? So we're gonna admit defeat from this woman who asked a question about how can you recognize it's just simply sexual desire, or is it from karmic debts? How do you recognize it? Could be both. That's implied in the question as well, right? It could be just sexual desire and karmic debts. Okay. How do you recognize it? My answer is, you women are so complicated. What's the matter with you? Why do you need to recognize it? Huh? How does recognize it help you? How does recognizing it help you? Really? So the assumption and the question is, if I recognize from karmic debts, and then what? If I say, oh, for you, towards, which man are we talking about now? Is this your boyfriend, your husband, or another person? Can you give me a name? Maybe a photo would help. You see that? I mean, if you throw things like that at me, I would typically ask you for more details, which you are not willing to reveal. That's why you're online, and I can't see your face. Yes, question.
If it's karmic retribution, then we have to endure it and pay up.
This woman is way too complicated. Again, another assumption. My God, what's wrong with these women? Complicated women, I mean. My disciples are a lot simpler. I think most of my women disciples are stupid. They never ask me this type of question. That's why I'm at a loss. I have after 15 years of teaching, a lot of women disciples. Some of them are become accomplished, but none ever ask us this complicated question. Yes, ma'am.
If it's our own sexual desire that caused the attachment, then we can let go.
If you know the answer already, then why are you asking me? Jeez. This woman is clearly Chinese. Yes? No? Undetermined racial origin?
The name looks Vietnamese.
Name Vietnamese?
The name looks Vietnamese.
It's just a moniker. You can't trust these names. I know one of my disciples listens in, but I bet you look at the profile, none of it is really her real name. Yes, it helps to know what type, whether it's karmic death or it's sexual desire and so forth. But sometimes it's true that all those are from the books. It says it's karmic death, you have to endure it and pay it up. It's one form of repayment. Whether it's sexual desire, then you can kill it. That's supposedly, intellectually speaking, yes, it's that's how you do it. But it's not as simple as it sounds. Okay, so that's why even if you know, the solution is oversimplified. It doesn't work like that. As soon you think that you can endure, you can make it go away, it won't. As soon you think you need to eliminate your sexual desire, you are deluding yourself. It doesn't work like that. All right? So there's no really formula to resolve this issue. It depends on you, on each individual. And the point here, it doesn't matter whether it's from karmic debts or it's simply sexual desire. The real question is, what is the real question?
I think the real question should be, how can she let go of her attachment to
That's
her
it.
lover?
It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter why. The real issue is, how do I deal with it? And when you learn to deal with it, you never assume that the solution is that straightforward. It's not. All right? Do not delude yourself into thinking it's that simple. All right, continue, please.
善业也就是一种智慧，你有智慧就能成就你的善业。
Good karma is also a kind of wisdom. You have wisdom, then can achieve your good karma.
And I don't know, and I'm sorry, I don't know if I agree with my late masters about the way he explains this, or the translation. 恢复我们本有的这个善业，恢复 right? It's very Chinese. I happen to disagree with the Chinese. There's no such a thing as 恢复. The Chinese keep on talking about 恢复. And I don't like that concept, 恢复. 恢复 is to regain, to recover, to restore. Okay? It's true, but it has a connotation that's incorrect. There's no need to restore. This is what I find wrong with the Chinese thinking. Why do you need to restore? Restoring is also a false thought. Agree or disagree? You eliminate greed, anger, stupidity, the three poisons. I agree with that. To restore your originally inherent good nature, that's not necessary. Do you follow me? Can you follow me? You stop at eliminate the three poisons. You Koreans understand what I'm talking about? This is, I don't know if you learned that in the Korean teachings as well, training as well. Is that what you hear as well? Eliminate greed, anger, stupidity, and restore your good nature? Yes or no? I'm curious. Come on, Koreans, help us out. I'm curious. No one? No one received training? No one remembers? The 恢复 here, I keep on hearing from the Chinese. 恢复, 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 恢复. Restore, recover, regain. You don't have that in a Korean training? Hello, Korea. Go ahead. Yes, 5 fingers.
어떻게 해야 돼요? 범현 스님 said, originally there is no three poison either.
There's no what?
Originally there was no three, even there's no three poisons either. That's what Bomyan S님 said.
It's true, but that doesn't help the cause. If you say there's no 3 poison, then there's no need to do chant. That's what the people would say. So we have to use this as experience that yes, there's 3 poisons and we need to let go. That's fine. Okay, that's part of the chant training, the Mahayana training. Okay, that's what the Buddha taught. Okay, to the human realm. Okay, he taught differently to the higher realms. But we're talking here about the Chan in the Saha world. We need to tell them, yes, you need to get rid of the 3 poisons. If you want to get out of this will reincarnation, that's the purpose of teaching about the 3 poisons. Okay? And I feel it's typical of the Buddhist scriptures, the Buddhist teachings in Asia to stress this. Okay? What I don't know is whether or not in your culture, in your own training, in your yogi order, do you talk about this concept of recovering your own originally inherent good nature, good karma? Yes or no? You don't remember? My point here is that to me, okay, as a teacher, I would say yes, you need, the reason you're here is because you've been creating karmas based on your 3 poisons. Based on greed, anger, and stupidity. That's what drove you, that's the engine behind all the karmas you've been creating. Good or bad, okay? That's what drives you. You want to do more good. You want to do more charity work. That's greed as well. Yes? You want to have more marijuana. That's a bad greed. Okay? There's some good greed and bad greed. There's some good anger and bad anger. Okay? All those things. So we need to learn when you do meditation, you put all those aside. Whether it's good or bad, you put aside greed, anger, and stupidity. Regardless whether it's good or bad. Is it clear? This is how we practice. I don't know how the Chinese do it, but for us, in our temple, I need to make it clear for you. Doesn't matter if it's even good greed, I want to save living beings, that's no good. Drop it. Is that clear? I want to be filial to my parents? Forget it. I know for you Asians, taboo. How can you not be filial to your parents? Oh my God, you are so evil. Okay? You cannot teach it like that. I can. Okay? And I will, and I have been. Okay? So the point here is that you meditate, and these thoughts of greed, anger, stupidity, like my masters pointed out, will arise naturally because that's what we are. Okay? And of course, as they arise, of course, you can easily classify them as good, bad, and so forth. That's normal. Okay? But he's referring here that you only need to get rid of the bad karmas, the bad greed, the bad anger, bad stupidity. To me, it's not complete. This is not our Chan. You understand me? I'm correcting. This works for his disciples, the way he trained his disciples. I don't want you to think like that. Yes, you look, these thoughts arise, okay? And they are based on greed, anger, stupidity. Yes, it's going to happen when you meditate. There's no need to classify them as the good greed, I keep it. The bad greed, I will throw it away. There's no need for that. That's too, shall we say, how can we say? Begin with a C. 2. What? Korean? Too Chinese. You see that? Can you see that? It's too rigid. They built this discrimination between good and bad poisons. There's no need for that. All you need to do is when these greed, anger, stupidity thoughts arise, You know that's not what you want. That's all. Let go. Ignore them. Is it clear? You still have almost 2 weeks left. Do not waste time doing like the Chinese and, I have a good drive. I want to do more philanthropy work. That's a good greed. I keep that. No, throw that out as well. Is it clear? If you do that, there's no need to recover the good karmas. You see how I save you so many steps, unnecessary steps? See, because the way the Chinese train themselves is that this thought of greed, anger, stupidity arises, I recognize, this is good, I keep. This is bad, I throw it away, and I need to recover my good stuff. It's so complicated, like women. Like, how do I know it's from past karmic debts, or is it from my sexual desire? Who cares? It's too complicated. You understand? It's too Asian. If we want, see, the Asians have thousands of years ahead of us. Yes? If we want to be better than them, we have a better way to do it quicker. We cannot do it like them. Question? Yes, red.
A Di Đà Phật. Thì theo con thấy á, nếu mà mỗi cá nhân mình nhận thấy cái tham, cái sân, cái si mà nó tai hại cho mình, như những người hút marijuana vậy đó, bỏ. Giờ làm sao bỏ? Nãy cái vị đó hỏi cái cạc ma hay là cái đép vậy đó. Thì trong kinh Phổ Môn Đức Phật dạy á, sân si với tham dục, dâm dục nó chỉ cần một cái là một dụng cụ, là thường niệm cung kính danh hiệu Quan Thế Bồ Tát thì tự nhiên cái đó nó mất. Bài học thứ hai là trong kinh Duyên Giác có nói là ly quyển, tri quyển tức ly, ly quyển tức giác. Biết nó quyển thì bỏ đi thì mình bỏ được, rồi lúc mình bỏ là giác. Cũng như hôm qua thầy giảng cái flash đó, nó hiện lên thì biết nó quyển là bỏ đi, chứ đừng thắc mắc gì nữa. Cái đó là cái Bồ Tát Hoa Âm dạy con cách đây mười mấy năm á. Cứ kinh Bát Nhã nó làm có hỏi hoài. Làm chỗ nào, làm chỗ mà ngũ quẩn về không, nó cả flash nó lên, bỏ nó đi, không theo nó. Đơn giản vậy.
Translation.
So what the master was saying, like when you have the thought of greed, hatred, and stupidity, and when the thoughts arise, then one of the methods is just recite Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. This is what Kuan Yin taught me 10 plus years ago. And then it's one of the sutra also say that if you are aware that it's just an illusion, get rid of it. You don't have to sit there and then wandering around. So for me, the Dharma is to illuminate the 5 skandha and contemplate the emptiness.
Questions, comments? Yes? No comments? I have a comment to him. Yes, go ahead, sir. Orange.
Does this contemplation of emptiness also is a form of greed?
No.
No? Okay.
No. It's the proper contemplation. What the comment is about is correct. It is that there's a way to deal with instead of worrying about the nature of this sexual desire, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's a false thought. To find out what is it exactly. It's not necessary even to even consider that. And like the old monk says, Wan Yin taught him to simply recite Wan Yin's name. That's it. It will take care of it. It doesn't matter whatever it is. Okay? That's very good. Okay? Excellent. Now my question, my comment to him is that ignore that even now. That was then, this is now. Even drop that. Okay, it's no need.
To my understand is when it arises, you apply the theory of the Heart Sutra. 5 skandha empty. You recognize it's flat, drop it. Don't follow it. Ignore it.
Even drop that as well. Thank you very much.
Ignore it. No, don't have a hand on the flat to drop it. Recognize it. Ignore it.
Yeah. Recognize it, drop that as well. All right? Okay, time is up. Final question. You see, the illustration is each person's different. Okay, back then I would agree, Wan Yin, that's what you do, that she taught him, that's fine. But now I would teach him differently. That's all. Okay. So it's not as simple as you think. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Who? Oh, okay.